Welcome to the 5 for 2 podcast with me, your host Adele, where we say no to careers where you're trading 5 days of misery for 2 days of fun. A place we discuss all things career, confidence, and money moves. I want to motivate, teach, and empower ambitious women to achieve more, earn more, feel more confident, and enjoy the work they do. It's all about believing you can have everything you want in your career and then going and getting it. So if you're ready, let's get into it. Hey, welcome to another episode. So today's episode is about desperation. The title says it all. Desperate energy creates desperate results. I posted this a few months ago on my Instagram and a lot of you commented, a lot of you got into my DMs, we had conversations, and I want to speak on this because desperate energy in your career messes up so much. It will lose you money. It will lose you opportunities and offers. It gets you crap colleagues, useless bosses, and no career growth. It will affect your interviews. It will affect how you negotiate, and it literally will fuck up your confidence. I promise you, if you were in a place of desperate energy, like I had to curse, guys. You had me saying the F word, but it was necessary because desperation, the way that shows up in your career, it messes with your confidence. If you already have lack of confidence, it's going to add to it. So that's why today's episode, we are talking about desperate energy, what it looks like, how it's affecting your career, and how you need to start shifting out of it and how you can do that. I'm going to share a little quick story time about me being in desperate energy and also me removing myself from desperate energy, because I think it's super important for you to see both sides and to understand that even when I talk about this stuff, it's usually because I've been there and done it and I'm no longer there anymore and I've figured out how to work my way out of it. So, or I slip into it every now and again. So when I'm sharing things with you, I think it's good for you to see both perspectives and to also give yourself grace. Because just because you did something one way for a certain period of time doesn't mean you can't change it. So let's get started. What is desperate energy? Desperate energy is when you were like, oh my gosh, I need this job. I'll do anything. You miss all the red flags. You're just like, yep, I need it so badly. I'm desperate. Like, I don't even think I'm that good. So whatever they offer me, I'll take it. Like, you are now in desperate energy. That is desperation. And desperation doesn't look good or smell good on anyone. And the person who can sense that you're desperate will take advantage of that situation. So that is what it looks like when you are in desperation in your career. You will literally just take anything because you don't believe you deserve more. You will accept any kind of stupid money, even when you know it's way less than you deserve. And you will accept people talking to you like crap because you are so desperate to have a job or keep a job that you will put up with almost anything. And before we get started on this, what I do want to say is there are times when you will be in desperation for a job. You may have been made redundant, laid off, whatever the situation is, and you just need a job to pay the bills. If you are in a place of desperation where you need a job, and you desperately need it so that you can get some money to pay some bills or whatever it is that you need, go ahead and take that place. But don't try and change that job. So go ahead, like I said, take the job, but don't try and change that job into a career because that's where the problem starts. If you go after a job from a place of, I just need to get these bills paid, I don't even care what it is, don't expect that to be a great job because you're probably going to ignore all the red flags. You're probably going to take a job where the people aren't necessarily that nice. Like whatever the situation is, if you accept a job from a place of desperation, there is nothing wrong with that because we have bills to pay out here. Listen, I've been a single mom for the longest time. Sometimes bills just need to be paid. And if I've been put in a situation where I've lost a job or something's happened and I need to get money, then I'm going to take a job that might not be that great. But I am not going to turn that job into a career. I'm not going to try and make something what it's not. I'm not going to try and turn an apple into an orange. That's what I mean, guys. So if you take a job from a desperate energy place, put an expiration date on it. Know that you're only there right now to do what you need to do for the current season you are in life. But while you're there, you're going to be using your energy, your good energy, to look for something better in a place that lights you up, doing something that pays you good money for all the things that you bring to the table. Because that's where I want to start. Because I know a lot of you, before I even get started, are thinking, oh, but sometimes you just need a job. Yes, you do. Sometimes you just need to go and get a job. Go ahead and do that. But don't try and turn that job into a career. And also, don't get mad at the desperate energy job when it's not giving you what you wanted it to give you. Like if you took a job from a place of desperate energy, a place of like, oh, I'm lucky that they're giving me this job because I don't have a qualification. That was a big one for me. You guys already know. Or, oh, I just need a job, so I've taken it, but they treat me so badly. Don't get mad at the desperate energy job. Don't get mad at it. That's like getting pissed at a fuckboy for not acting like a husband. And you heard what I said. And if you didn't, rewind and listen to it. Because literally, you started off from a place of desperation. You took any old job and then you're angry that the job doesn't treat you right, or you're angry that the job's not paying you right. You took a job from a desperate place, accept the results, accept that the results are going to be desperate results. And you don't get to get mad at that situation. What you should do is be like, let me not put all my energy into being angry at this job when I can put my energy into finding something better. And at least while I'm doing that, all my bills are paid because I'm in this job. So let me tell you about a time when I got ghosted, because this is going to be so relevant to this conversation about desperate energy and how it shows up. So I went for a job. As you guys know, I'm in an industry that I am not qualified in. I do not have a degree, and I've worked in recruitment and human resources for well over 13 years. But right at the beginning, I'd just changed industries. I'd done HR, so I'd been a HR and training manager. So I'd done that in my job, and I left that role and I was looking for work. So I was still working in that job, by the way, but I'd already given my notice. So I was looking for a job, and I was slightly in desperate energy because I'd given my notice without having another job lined up. However, I booked this interview, head of HR, huge company. It would have been the biggest company I'd ever worked for. Well-known company. I was so excited. The money was amazing. It would have been more money than I had ever seen in my life at that point. I was ready. Went to the interview, smashed it. I felt like. They then gave feedback to the recruiter who was helping me look for work. And they told her they really liked me because initially they weren't sure if they wanted to see me because I didn't have a CIPD. Like I don't have the specific degree that we use here in the UK to be in human resources. But after looking at my experience, they were like, no, we want to see her. They then said, listen, we're so happy we did decide to see her. She was great. We want to see her for a second interview. I'm on top of the moon at this point because I'm like, oh my gosh, if I get this job, it's going to change the game for me and my daughter. My daughter was young at that point, like maybe 3-4 years old. I can't even remember. Yeah, maybe 4 years old. She was really young. And I just remember thinking, this will change our life, like to another level. So I was so excited. And then there was radio silence, crickets, tumbleweeds, everything. They didn't get back to me. They didn't get back to the recruiter. I heard nothing. The recruiter kept saying to me, I'm really sorry, but I can't get hold of them. They're not coming back to me. So they ghosted me. Literally, I got ghosted. And I know some people will give you the advice about, oh, if you don't hear from like a job, chase up, send an email at least once or twice. And then if you don't hear anything, let it go. But no, listen, if a job ghosts me, like you say nothing, you literally send me no email, nothing after I've spent time to come in and see you. My name is Casper and I will remain ghosted. Please understand this. I talked about this recently on my social media. If you ghost me, I will remain ghosted. My name is Casper. I treat relationships exactly the same. And this is the thing. If a man ghosted you, what would you do? And I know some people are like, well, I might chase them a little bit. And trust me, I've been young once. I've been there. But what I'm saying to you is if you chase a career, a person, whatever it is, and just say by some miracle, you get them or you get the outcome you want. So just say I chased this job and they eventually wanted to hire me. Firstly, they didn't want me. I had to chase them. But above all, they did not respect me. If they show you they don't respect you, believe them the first time. If a job ghosts you, there is no respect. So if you get the job, can you imagine how they're going to treat you? They treated you like that. That was your first impression. Before they even knew you, they ghosted you. They treated you like that. So for you to now go and chase them and then get the job and not expect them to treat you badly, that's desperate energy. If a man ghosts you and you chase him and by some miracle you get him, he will not respect you. He will treat you the way he already showed you, which was to ghost you and disappear. Why would you put yourself in that situation? That is desperate energy. Remove yourself. I refuse to ever be that person. So I'm very much, if you ghost me, that's on you. You're missing out because at some point you need to decide that you're the prize, not the thing you're chasing. This job was amazing on paper. It looked so great and I felt like it would change my life, but I am the prize. I always have to bring myself back to that. Even when I'm in doubt, even when I was like thinking, oh my gosh, I really wanted that job, I still bring myself back to, I am the prize. I need to be treated accordingly. How you treat me off the bat is how you're going to continue to treat me. And guess what? 6 or 7 weeks later, that company had the audacity to reach out to the recruiter and say to them that they wanted to see me, to meet the board members, and they're really sorry that they hadn't been in touch for so long. It might have even been longer than 7 weeks. I don't even remember. But basically to say that they wanted to see me and they want to offer me something. Firstly, excuse me. I was still looking for a job at this point, by the way. I was actually still looking for a job. When the recruiter called me, I was like, nope. She was like, oh, but you said you really want... Nope. Let me stop you there. Don't say that I said I really wanted the job. I don't care. The answer is no. Because guess what probably happened? They probably offered someone and that person started and it didn't work out, or they didn't start at all. And now, 7, 8 weeks later, you want to come to me and be like, we ghosted you. We didn't even respond to say like, what's happening? They literally had said to me, we want to see you next week for a second interview. And then that was it. Ghosted me. Are you joking? Like you would at least have followed up and said like, we're really sorry, there's been delays. Just something, some sort of respectful communication. Do you think I'm going to be anyone's second choice? Listen, there's a lot of people out here being second choices in relationships and careers and then wondering why they're not being treated properly. I'm no one's second option. I'm no one's third option or fourth or fifth option. Now, if I'm a second option and I don't know about it, that's different. Of course, there's situations where they've probably offered someone the job and that person said no and then they've offered it to me, but I don't know about it. So that's very different. But what I'm telling you is me knowing that for 7 weeks you didn't say anything. As my Jamaican mum would say, you didn't even fart on me. I love my mum's little sayings. You had nothing for me. And now all of a sudden you want me to come in and meet the board members and probably going to make an offer on the day. I'm not interested. No, Susan, you can keep it. I have no interest. And that's how you decide you're the prize and you stand on it. My great granddad used to say to my mum, if you stand for nothing, you will fall for everything. I stand on the fact that I am the prize and I will not be treated a certain way, not by a job, not by people, not by relationships. And because of that, yes, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to stand alone and be strong, but for your mental health, for my confidence, that's where I need to stand. Because when I don't, and when I give into that, oh, but I did really want the job, let me go, guess what? It will always end up as a bad situation. And that leads me to my second story real quick. When I did slip into a little bit of desperate energy. So, because like I said, there's balance in life. I give myself grace. I know when I've made the wrong moves and I see when I've made the right moves. So went for a job, had an interview. They said to me at the end of the interview, we want to offer you, not at the end of the interview, but the next day, we want to offer you the job. And then I proceeded to tell them the salary I wanted. They said, oh, but not for the salary that you want. Because, you don't have that much experience. And even though you do have good experience, you don't have a qualification. So, they threw the qualification thing in my face. So I said, wow, okay, never mind. I don't want the job. So I said no. They were like, what? I said, no, it's fine. I'm still got other interviews. I'm fine. So I didn't take the job. 4 days later, they came back and they said, yeah, we're going to offer you what you want and a little bit more. Remember, these are the people that said I'm not good enough. That's what they're saying to me. I don't have enough experience or the qualifications. So I'm basically not good enough for the salary I'm asking for. That's what they're telling me. But now suddenly I'm good enough for more than I asked for. Make it make sense, guys. But anyway, they offered. I was like, oh my gosh, so excited. I didn't think about, and I took the job, by the way, I didn't think about the fact that you basically told me, even they had actually told me in an interview, oh, we saw in your application like what you're looking for, but we're not sure we're going to be able to meet you there because you aren't qualified. And then they said it again the next day when they made the offer. So you are letting me know you don't think I'm good enough. I'm good enough to be offered the job, but I'm not good enough for the money that I deserve for the job. And I took this job after they came back to me 4 days later and offered me more money, not taking into consideration that these people, just that one little thing that they did shows character. It shows who they are. You would make someone feel like they're not good enough, only to turn around and confirm that actually they are more than good enough because now you're giving me what I want. Anyway, that same company was one that I ended up leaving because when I wanted a pay rise, guess what they told me? They had me managing the setting as a manager and training other managers who were earning 15 to 20K more than me. So I was training other managers. When I asked for 5K more, remember, I found out other people were on 15K more than me. When I asked for 5K more, they said, no, you're not experienced enough. I'm not experienced enough, but I'm experienced enough to train other people. Make that make sense. And if you've listened to my episode on toxic jobs, part 1, you heard me speak about this. Make it make sense that I'm not good enough for a pay rise, but I'm good enough to train all your other managers who are at the same level as me, but I'm training them. So anyway, they said no. I gave my notice. Guess what? A couple days later, they offered me more than I was asking for. So all the time, I'm good enough, but you just want to get away with stuff. You just want to use me. And if I had paid attention at the very beginning, I wouldn't have taken the job, because that's what they did at the very beginning. You want to get good talent and a good person for next to nothing. I could have let it eat away at my confidence, constantly being told like, oh yeah, you're good, or your experience is good, but you don't have a qualification. You didn't take the time out to go to school and get educated at this level, so we don't think you're good enough. Even when you're delivering the results, even when you're training other people for us to make our business better, and training other people at your level, like other managers that aren't doing that well, you're training them to be as good as you, but we're still going to tell you that you're not good enough and the money you want is too much. Your ego's too big for you. How dare you want that much money? People will use and abuse you when you stay in desperate energy. And that's what I mean by when I said at the beginning of the episode that it will mess with your money. That's how it will mess with your money. Because now you're believing people that are telling you you're not good enough. You're believing that your experience and your qualifications, like you don't have enough, you need a better qualification. That's why you can't get the money you want. No. They showed me who they were right at the beginning with the whole money situation. And I still took the job. Now, I don't regret anything that I've done in life, because all these lessons led me to here. I wouldn't be able to support the women I support, teach the women I teach inside my coaching program, Create Your Own Lane. Like, there would be no way in CYOL that I would be able to help the women that I currently work with if I hadn't been through some of these things. Also, those things built character. They helped me to understand that when someone shows you who they are, believe them. And if you still choose to entertain someone else's nonsense, don't be upset by the results that you then receive. I'm a big believer in that. Listen, I've been in relationships where I saw the red flags at the beginning, but I was stupid enough to continue with the relationship, everything that happened, I deserve. I am the friend that if your boyfriend cheats on you, I'm going to hug you and be like, listen, that's out of order, all the things. But if you stay with him and then he does it again, and then you stay with him again, do not come to me the third time. I'm the friend that's going to tell you, let that man cheat in peace, because he showed you who he was. You have accepted it more than once. How dare you now be upset by it? If you put yourself in certain situations, we have to expect certain results. And this is why this episode is called, if you approach your job search from desperate energy, you will achieve desperate results. Don't be upset at the results. Remember though, within all that, I know it's tough love, but it's still love, guys. Give yourself grace, because we get to make mistakes. We are humans living a human experience. I'm a human. I make mistakes. I have ignored red flags at careers and jobs and carried on, and then got upset when things didn't go my way. But when I step back and look at it, I'm like, yeah, that's your fault, Adele. That is literally your fault. You had every opportunity in front of you to not have to put up with this BS, but you carried on anyway. And before I go, I just want to touch on a couple things that I said right at the beginning. Desperate energy will affect your interviews. How? If you have not decided you are the prize, you will show up from a place of, oh my gosh, I hope these people give me the job. Instead of, I'm amazing, they would be lucky to have me. Guess how differently you answer questions when you have already decided you are great at what you do. And if these people miss out on an opportunity to employ you, that's on them. At the very least, do you know that you are a hardworking person who puts in their all? Do you know that you show up for work every day and do the best you can do and try? And when you make a mistake, you will fix it and do whatever's necessary. You will learn whatever needs to be learned. You will stay extra sometimes so that you can get stuff done. If you know that you are a great employee, why are you turning up from a place of, oh, I hope they like me? No. I hope I like them. Is your company good enough for someone like me? Do you respect your employees? Do you do internal promotions? Do you review salaries on a regular basis? Or am I going to have to fight for every penny? Like, are you ready to ask the right questions? Or are you so desperate for the job that you literally don't even ask any questions and you don't pay attention to the obvious red flags before you get started? When you're desperate, you don't negotiate money. 100% you don't negotiate money. And even when you do, you kind of waver because you're a bit like, oh, am I asking for too much? You haven't decided how much you are worth. So you are like, you're waiting for them to validate you almost. You're like, 20, 25. And then if they're like, we were thinking 20, you're like, oh, okay, because you're desperate. I don't know why I said 20, 25. Like, who even earns that these days? Like, that's a struggle. The saddest thing is I see jobs really advertised for that salary. Like, jobs where they want a lot of experience as well, and you want to pay people 25k. Disrespectful, by the way, people. Anyway, I just went off on a random tangent. But like I said, it will affect how you negotiate. And it will mess with your confidence. You see, when you take a job from desperate energy, you are waiting for your boss, your colleagues, people to validate you and tell you how good you are. Don't get me wrong, I like my ego straight just like the next. Again, I'm human. I love when people tell me I've done a good job. Of course I do. I don't want people coming to me like in my coaching program saying to me, oh, this is rubbish. I don't like anything you did. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear like, thank you so much. You've helped me. In my day job, I want people to say like, oh my gosh, thank you. You've helped me. Of course we want praise, but I don't rely on the praise because your praise does not affect that does not change the fact that I'm already amazing at what I do. I know that. I know it. I feel it. I work hard to be that. So because I work hard to be the person of her word, the person who not just says she's good at her job, but is good at her job, I don't need the validation. However, when you are in desperate energy, you want that. You want them to be like, you're like, am I good? And when they validate you, you're like, okay, that means I'm good. But then on the flip side, when they say you're not good, you take it personally, you take it to heart. And I don't like being criticized. I hate it. So when people criticize me, I do take it to heart. I'm a water sign. I'm emotional. So I take things to heart. I will go and cry sometimes. But I also know how to work through those feelings and be like, you know what? This was one moment in time. How am I going to let this one moment in time affect my whole entire day, my whole entire life? But what will happen is it will slowly chip away at your confidence if constantly you are in desperate energy and you are like, please like me, please like me, please like me, please like me. Instead of looking at the situation you're in and being like, do you know what? These people should really like me because I've done this for their business. I've done this for their business. Remember, no company exists without employees. Employees make the company's money. I don't care how big the company is. Without the employees, they don't have a business. And without customers, they don't have a business. So what do you do for your company? How are you making the money, saving the money, building their reputation, bringing them in customers, helping them keep their current customers? Because sometimes, you have that awful boss who makes customers want to not ever come back. And then you're the one who always fixes it. How are you doing all those things? Remain in that energy. You are the prize. Remain in that energy. Because when you're not in that energy and your boss is talking down to you, berating you, telling you you're awful at your job, every day that will slowly chip away at your confidence. Every single day. And guess what? Those bosses, they love that. Them toxic bosses, they love that. Because now you're in a place where you will overwork to prove yourself just to hear a little bit of praise, but you won't leave because you don't think you're now good enough because they have chipped away at your confidence long enough. Desperate energy will mess with if you suffer from anxiety or you have like mental health, it will mess with your mental health, your physical health, because you're in this desperate negative energy. It will mess with your anxiety because you're just so desperate for anyone in your job or your career or your environment to say something nice to you, to like you, to want you. We need to switch it up. We need to remove ourselves from the desperate energy and we need to get to a place of, I'm the prize. This is everything I have to offer. And it's not about being cocky. I don't want anyone listening to this and thinking like, oh, that's not very humble. It's not about being cocky. And also humble does not pay your bills. However, it's not about being cocky. It's not about showing off. It's about staying in your lane and knowing what you're good at. I don't think I'm good at everything, but the things I'm good at, I own them and I've decided I'm good at them and I won't let anyone else tell me I'm not. But I am human. It does not mean I never get into desperate energy. I 1000% do. But I have done the work behind the scenes. I work on my confidence daily. I work on how I feel about myself all the time as part of just general life so that the desperate energy doesn't creep in and become so big that it now affects everything around me. If you don't want to lose money, opportunities, and job offers, this is something you really need to address. When you last went for an interview, where were you coming from a place of? Did you ask specific questions that were going to help you figure out if that job is in line with your long-term goals? Did you think about the season you were in? Like some people are scared to say, I'm just changing jobs because I want a lot of money right now. If that's the season you're in, like you need to buy a house, you need to do whatever, you want to live the high life, be in that season and own it. But if that's the season you're in, then yeah, the energy you might be going to interviews with is like, these people need to pay me. But if you're there in a desperate energy, do you think you're going to negotiate? Do you think when you ask for the 70K and they say, we think you're worth 60, you're not going to be like, oh, okay then, even though that doesn't line up with your goals? Because 3 years from now, you want to be on like 100K or you want to be on 120K. And that starts today with the decisions that you make today. Anyway, this has been fun. I am just going to leave you there with the thought that, again, like I said at the start, desperate energy creates desperate results. If that is not what you want or where you want to be, then start thinking about today. Just ask yourself, why was that my decision? Why was that my response? Why do I not believe that I can get better and I deserve better elsewhere? Why am I so desperate for this one person or this one job or this one situation to validate me? Why can't I go somewhere else? Why can it just not be that where you currently are or an interview you've been to, they just don't appreciate your greatness? They don't appreciate that you're the prize. They're just outright disrespectful. Like I said, go back, listen to the ghosting story. I got ghosted. When I get ghosted, I will remain ghosted. I will not chase you. Chasing energy is desperate energy. And I'm going to end up with a result I don't want. And that's something I don't want for any of you. If you know this is something you struggle with, do not beat yourself up about it. Work on it. Get help. Make one decision differently from what you usually would. If you know usually you move into desperate energy, the minute you think to yourself, okay, let me just try something the other way. The way I would usually chase, let me just not do it. Let me just not be bothered. Let me just move differently. It is hard. I'm not going to tell you it's easy. It might be hard to start with, but the more you do something over and over again, you know, when they say practice makes perfect, it is very true. My one-to-one coaching, literally, this is the basis. I always want to figure out how people feel about themselves, where they're at in their self-confidence and their self-belief before we make the big career moves. If you are looking for that type of support and that type of help, and you're looking for long-term coaching, my 3-month package, or 10 weeks, because you can do 10 weeks, create your own lane. It says what it does on the tin. I help you to create your own. We stay in our lane. I help you to create your own lane in your career, change industries, make a lot more money, and be happy when you wake up on a Monday morning. If that sounds like something you want to do, book yourself a call. I'm taking on my next lot of clients. So feel free to book a call. Let's have a chat. Let's see if we're a good fit. And when you show up on the call, no desperate energy. You don't need me. I'm a bonus. You would like me. Just like we don't need to go to the gym. We can work out at home. But maybe sometimes we're like, we won't stay committed. But if we go to the gym, we'll be more committed. So it's an enhancement. Working with me is an enhancement. You are not desperately needing me. You want my help. Let's start from that place. Anyway, this has been a great episode. And I will see you on the next. I hope this episode gave you exactly what you needed and motivated you to confidently take steps towards your next career move. If you enjoyed it, screenshot and share it on your socials, tag me on Instagram, and come join my community of amazing women working on leveling up their confidence and career. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.